Long before empires rose across the world, a river carved life out of the desert.
From tribal lands to a united kingdom, a single ruler would bind two worlds together.
The sleaze. With unity came innovation, writing, irrigation, and administration. Egypt.
To the Egyptians, their king was more than a ruler. He was a bridge between gods and men.
And as Egypt entered the Old Kingdom, a monument unlike any seen before began to rise from the south.
Under Pharaoh Djoser, Egypt sought to turn stone into eternity, a monument not for life, but for the afterlife.
Beside him stood Imhotep, a genius of his age, architect, engineer, physician. With innovation and discipline, thousands labored to lift Egypt toward the sky, one perfectly cut block at a time. After Djoser came Sneferu, a king whose ambition reshaped the desert.
Perfection did not come easily. Plans failed, structures cracked, but Sneferu's persistence.
And then came Khufu, the pharaoh whose ambition would dwarf all before him.
The blueprint was divine, aligned with the stars, engineered with impossible precision.
And as the first stone settled, Egypt entered a new age, an era where its power, faith, and...
Before he conquered Europe, Napoleon conquered chaos, reshaping law, education, the economy. France wasn't just ruled, it was rebuilt.
His greatest victory wasn't on the battlefield.
He understood one truth. Power isn't enough. People must see the power. Napoleon.
Under his rule, Europe wasn't a continent, it was a chessboard, and Napoleon moved the pieces. The son of Austerlitz became Napoleon's masterpiece, one battle that shattered two empires and crowned him the king of strategy. The Grande Armée Femme, the most efficient military machine Europe had ever seen. Trained, loyal. If he couldn't defeat Britain at sea, he'd strangle it with economics. The continental system, Europe closed, Britain isolated. But every empire awakens enemies. Spain resisted. Austria rose again.
He stood at the height of power. Yet history teaches one lesson. The higher the rise, the deeper the fall.
Spain, the wound that never healed. Napoleon won battles, but lost the people.
For the first time, Napoleon faced an enemy he couldn't outmaneuver. Civilians turned warriors.
Men, money, morale, Spain drained it all. The empire was bleeding slowly.
Russia reopened its ports to Britain's Satik, an open challenge to Napoleon's authority.
In response, he assembled the greatest army Europe had ever seen, Tungling, over 600,000 soldiers. Napoleon marched east expecting a quick victory. Instead, he entered a trap built by nature and strategy.
Russia burned everything, leaving the French nothing to eat, nothing to capture, nothing to conquer. The land itself became the enemy, hating. Endless marches, brutal heat, sudden cold.
One of the bloodiest battles in history. No victor, only devastation, and the Russian army lived to fight another day.
Napoleon entered Moscow expecting surrender, but the city burned instead. Victory turned into ash.
Weeks passed. No peace offer came. Winter approached, and Napoleon hesitated. With supplies gone and Russia refusing surrender, the emperor ordered the unthinkable, Kuwait, retreat.
It was not a winter, it was a white hell. Men froze standing, guns shattered in the cold. It was not a winter, it was a white hell. Men froze standing. Guns shattered in the cold.
The retreat turned into a hunt. The Russians struck relentlessly, carving the army apart. No food, no shelter. Thousands died each night. The Grand Army was vanishing.
At the river Berezina, chaos erupted. Under heavy attack, the French bridges broke. Thousands perished.
From over 600,000, barely 100,000 made it out alive. An empire's pride died in the snow.
The world realized Napoleon could be beaten. The once invincible legend was now mortal.
Europe united with one goal: to clean, end the French emperor's rule forever.
He returned home defeated but not broken, preparing for one final stand. France had lost its greatest army, yet Napoleon rebuilt another, fast, furious, determined. 6 great powers moved as one. The net tightened. Europe wanted an end to the Napoleonic age. At Leipzig came the largest battle Europe had ever seen. A 4-day storm of fire and steel.
Outnumbered, outgunned from quarters, France fought fiercely, but the coalition crushed the imperial dream.
After Leipzig, the empire unraveled. Territory after territory slipped away.
For the first time in centuries, enemy soldiers marched into Paris. The capital had fallen. With no army left to fight, the emperor surrendered his crown. The age of Napoleon was over. Banished to the tiny island of Elba, he watched the world he once ruled move on without him. The fall of Napoleon reshaped Europe. Borders redrawn, kings restored, power balanced. The fall of Napoleon reshaped Europe. Borders redrawn, kings restored, power balanced. History believed his story had ended. But Napoleon Bonaparte was not finished yet.